she was recruited to work on the Enigma code, this notorious, this infamous code that was created for bank transactions in Germany, but was all these machines, these code machines, were confiscated by the Nazi government for military coded message exchange. And so my mom, the dean of women, dean of students at Kocher was the first cousin of the Secretary of War. And he said something to her, do you have any women that come work on this thing? I can't tell you what it is. So my whole life, my mom was very secretive about what she did for those 4 years from 1942 till the end of 45. And that's 3.5 years. And so, but in 1992, they were all declassified. They had a big party. So my mom was a code breaker. Meanwhile, my dad was a prisoner of war for almost 4 years, longer than anybody else from the U.S. They were captured from Wake Island, which is way out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's a tactically important place. You could land planes there and refuel planes there, and that was important, and supported to the Japanese military as well. So those people lived through this extraordinary time, my parents, and they became part of the greatest generation, right? That's what they were called. But they didn't set out to be part of the greatest generation. It's just what they did. And so I submit that those of us here today can work together to resolve climate change, to address climate change. Renewable energy for everybody, reliable electricity for everybody, clean water for everybody, and access to information, to the electronic infrastructure for everyone in the world. Those are goals. The longest journey starts with but a single step, and we will accomplish these goals through science. Let's go, people.
A lot of those people, the reason why that they tell me that they don't believe climate change, in fact, one of the state representatives I interviewed said this fact. He said, well, we know this stuff isn't true because the Earth is only 6,000 years old, and so when they talk about looking at carbon back 100,000 years ago, that can't be true because we know it's only 6,000 years ago. So I think that's where climate change and religion intersect.
Yeah, there's definitely an intersection, but I can't tell if it's cause and effect, I have to say, but maybe you're onto something. If you really believe the Earth is 6,000 years old, then it is unreasonable that rubidium becomes strontium and chemically replaces calcium and potassium. Maybe that is, the whole thing just falls apart for you if you start with the Earth is 6,000 years old. But when I went to that, well, okay.
No, go ahead, please.
Well, when I went to that debate, you know, I was in a car and there was a blasting where the highway had been cut through some hills in Kentucky. And I got out of the car and there was a little bit of snow in there, and I picked up 3 rocks that had ancient shellies, fossils, shelled ancient sea creatures. Well, from an ancient ocean, now in that area, I think it's 325 million years ago. It's about that, over 300 million years. And so, and Mammoth Caves is down the street. That building is made of limestone, for crying out loud, everybody. But it's a process. And so the message I want to get across today is that climate change is serious business. And this year is a very important time.
Do you think it will change? Are you hopeful for the future?
You have to be optimistic. If you don't think you can change things, then you won't. Let's go, everybody. Let's get her done.